I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your dumpster fire for the weeks of February 13th to February 26th.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns. World burns.
You guys don't know how much work this takes us. It is like 4 days of work. It is by far the most labor-intensive project we have, and Maggie and all of us are here to provide you humor in the dark times that we live in.
So we had some comments from last week, too, I want to go over. We didn't ask anyone specifically to tell me stuff in the comments, which we forgot about, so.
This week, I want you to tell Maggie in the comments your entire dissertation on the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Okay. In the comments, we actually had someone from the Phetasy community write in and say that the reason they subscribed to Dumpster Fire was when Cousin Maggie said her favorite movie was Last of the Mohicans. I was like, yes.
Nerd. Nerd alert.
I will find you.
Hopeless romantic alert, actually.
Best movie ever. Anna Bananarama said, your description of Gen X is spot on, and I love us.
You're welcome.
Christian Moore said, more politicians were cannibalized by the Dutch people than died on January 6th.
Actually true.
Crystal M said, I don't want that to happen, but I would laugh. Ari, Bezos versus Dutch cannibals. Bridget is the best. When you were like, I don't want Jeff Bezos to get eaten by Dutch cannibals, but I would laugh.
I would still laugh.
I think we all would, in our hearts at least. And then Brindle Dwyer said, the only issue I have with your show is I have to keep rewinding because I'm laughing so much from all the stuff you folks say. This is truly one of the funniest weekly shows I've ever had the pleasure to watch, and my sides are in so much pain from the laughter. Here's to more of this every week.
I wish we could do quotes from like all of the famous people who constantly text me and they're like, most underviewed show ever. I'm like, thanks. I know you can't publicly admit that.
Thanks for telling me privately and not daring to publicly.
I know, it's like Jon Stewart and all those like late night shows are like, did it with the quotes from people. Uh-huh. Whitney loves it.
Yes, she does. She publicly admitted it.
She publicly admitted it. She's not afraid.
Dumpster Fire with Bridget Phetasy is easily my favorite news program. It is the only thing that fucking makes me laugh. When you were talking about the sort of like left-wing hypocrites that have like yachts, but they're environmentalists, and like, and are flying private, and about like they're gonna start naming their yachts the USS Greta Thunberg, just to there's no extent to how ironic this gets.
Someone was like, oh no, you're taking a week off, like watch, the world's gonna end.
We always do. Every time we take away, we should never take a week off. It's true.
Dumpster Fire controls the simulation.
It does. Every time we take a week off, like goes off the rails. It's inevitable. We're sorry.
Just wait till Matilda's here.
Yeah, we're taking the month of May off.
I know, right?
Good grief.
What does Alex Jones have to say about the month of May? We'll get to that later. No, it is unsettling. And we did joke in the stories, boring stories we're ignoring, that we're like, we might be at war next time we come back, and we are at war.
Yeah.
We aren't.
But
because we're
there's one that started that has the potential to escalate to World War III.
And probably will in May. So if you're wondering when World War III is really going to get going,
like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. And please make sure that you're finding yourself a bunker for May.
All right. Russia so Russian. Russia invades Ukraine on multiple fronts.
I mean, there's no way for me, a dumb American in an undisclosed location, to properly synthesize all of the information and regurgitate it, because I'm a moron who doesn't understand anything, particularly the culture half of a globe away, the complex geopolitical relationships between all of these countries, and the insight into a madman like Putin, on top of the will of the Ukrainian people.
Yeah, and the history of like political decisions that got us here.
And the gas. I mean, talk about capitalism always winning.
Yeah.
And the gas deals and who's to blame for what. And it is the Chernobyl of bad takes out there. That's all I know is that I always wondered what it would have been like if social media was around during World War II. And dear God, I don't wonder that anymore. And it is weird. Jaron came walking into the living room the other day and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you still watching war?" And I was.
Yeah.
He was right. It's like I'm
So
just
bad.
scrolling on social media and it is like it's unsettling to be watching war.
Yeah.
And then you're not even sure how much of it is. Jaron always comments. It's like the same 5 videos that go
I
around.
mean, I think it's largely misinformation that's on there.
Or
right?
disinformation.
Well, I mean, I think most people are misinformed and spreading
Right.
false things. I don't think there's a willful
But there is
spread,
the
but there is that
willful.
willful part as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to make sense of.
No, and we're trying to
know.
make sense of it. And I'm seeing just take after take after take, which we'll cover. And, people say like everybody's so shocked, but you haven't been paying attention to Putin. But people in Ukraine were shocked. People in Russia, reporters in Russia who have been covering this were shocked. Russians didn't think that even Putin was crazy enough to do something like this. So it's not completely out of the question that as much as I have been observing how insane Putin is for decades, what he's done in Syria, all of the horrific atrocities the man has committed on his own people, journalists, pushing people off balconies, disappearing, poisoning, whatever it takes. He still, it seems like it's like Leroy Jenkins. This is like a Leroy Jenkins moment, even for Putin.
Right.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do. All
right, chums up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my God, he just ran in.
Totally.
Apparently, the only people that expected this and could do anything about it are intelligence department, who has been saying all along, "Oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen," and they did nothing. Well, we all were like, "Nah, it's not going to happen."
Because it felt like they were daring Russia to invade. And I felt so ashamed about my own bad joke tweet that I had where I was like, "Oh, Biden, you're expecting this?" And everybody's like, "How do you feel now, moron?" I'm like, "Well, I feel dumb, but it did. Why were you predicting this for 2 weeks and telling us like they're going to invade and this? And the most you can do is like slap a sanction on them. Like, I don't get it. What's the point of being like, it's going to happen? And you can see the media kind of getting like disgustingly excited because like
a dog before
it
shakes its butt and like jumps. Or
they're like, "Oh, we're going to go to
pounces
war."
or-
I'm like, try to calm down, guys.
Let's prop up those flagging numbers.
Yeah. I mean, we were having the discussion. I said, "Why can't we just assassinate him?" And
I
Jaron,
was like, that's exactly what I was
and
thinking.
then Luna's like,
what
"Yeah,
could go
why
wrong?
can't we?"
What could go wrong?
And I was like, I said this the other day to Jaron, and he looked at me like I was the dumbest person in the entire
I
world.
mean, we're not like
It seems to
assassinating the governor of New Hampshire. We're talking about.
seems to be a female, like a women thing where we're just like, can someone please take this out?
Yeah, I don't know. It does seem you were like, "Oh, what could go wrong with that, Bridget? We can't just be taking out like world leaders." I'm like, "Why? We've done it before."
I mean, we definitely have, and usually to some seriously unforeseen consequences. I think, there's a time and a place for this. I don't know that this is it.
That we're there
Okay,
yet.
Mr. Voice of Reason.
Whatever, mansplainer, Phetasy.
I'm waiting for Team Phetasy to be called up and sent in to take out Putin.
This is why on all the shows about assassins are always female, because they're the only ones who have the balls to take out world leaders. And then there were like, I don't know if this was true, the mobile crematorium thing. Did you see that going around?
Yeah, again,
I mean, who the invented that?
we're not sure.
Again, I don't know if it's true. It
I
just
didn't
was
even
going
bother.
around.
Some things
It's an
aren't
article.
even worth researching.
What
or
a
following
time to
up
be
on.
alive.
It fits my narrative, so I'm not going to research it.
It was
too
an
hard.
article in the Telegraph.
Who
that
knows?
Russia deploys mobile crematoriums to follow its troops into battle to kind of hide the casualty
Their losses,
numbers.
like, we haven't lost anybody. What's the mobile crematorium for? We just, You just bring it along.
Yeah, it's just
stuff.
so weird.
I don't know why.
I
it's
just
here.
hate
Who
it.
brought that along?
Yeah, you're like,
weird.
who brought the
It's a
crematorium?
barbecue. It's just we just like grilling.
Folks, if you are one of us and you feel confused, conflicting emotions, like I hate war, is it our authority to be over there? Do we belong there? Where's the line? How do you stop this? How do we support them? Just know you're not alone. A lot of people out there have their perfectly, I know everything takes. That's not us. My take is that I don't know shit. And I'm repeatedly reminded of that over and over again.
We know nothing, and we're not afraid to admit that.
There have been some theoretically true acts of bravery.
Yes.
Which brings us to
the BDE Award. Ukrainian woman confronts Russian soldiers and asks them why they came. Urges them to put sunflower seeds in their pockets so that flowers will grow when they die on Ukrainian land.
I mean, dude, European women, Eastern European women will cut your soul. American women will key your car. Slavic women will key your soul. They are so freaking, they just get right to the freaking. She said it twice. She said, I put these sunflower seeds in your pockets so sunflowers grow and you're on the ground.
Yeah.
Just balls, the balls on that woman.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eastern European people are a hard people in general. Like, everyone in Ukraine has BDE. It seems like they just have a country of big dick energy. Americans have like chode energy. Short, fat dick energy.
God.
We wish we had this kind of leaders like Zelensky, who used to be a comedian and now he's like leading his country bravely into the resistance against. I mean, the David versus Goliath feeling that this evokes in people is so natural. I woke up this morning and in my kind of waking up haze, I was like, I kind of want to go to Ukraine and fight. It does. It inspires that kind of like, let's fight for something bold and true. And
well, that is another winner of the BDE Award. Ukrainian President Zelensky says he is staying in Ukraine. He has intel that he's Russia's top target and his family's target number 2 for Putin, but he's staying.
За наявною у нас інформацією, ворог позначив мене як ціль номер 1. Також в Україні. Мої діти також в Україні.
I loved his quote when he was talking about how the Americans wanted to get him out. The U.S. reached out to him and said, we want to get you out. And he's like, I need ammunition, not a ride. This again, allegedly.
That video was great. It was kind of going around Black Twitter and they were talking about it looked like a Wu-Tang video. It's like him and like all the guys in the background and they're like, come on.
Президент тут. Всі ми тут. Наші військові тут. Громадяни суспільства. Захисникам. Слава нашим захисникам.
Some tweet that was going around too that was like, this is the most gangster shit ever. This guy used to be a comedian and now he's like on the ground with his troops in Ukraine, leading them against Putin and the Russian army. It's insane.
Yeah.
It is like the most wild thing. And they're kind of somehow holding their own, although I don't really understand how. And that's when it gets very like weird and what's really going on here. I don't know. Like their comedians are standing toe to toe with Putin and our comedians can't even find Ukraine on a map. Dave Yates was saying he had a tweet and he was like, you should have to be like, show a video of you finding this on a map before you make a joke about this situation. And it's true.
All right. Then we have 13 Ukrainian defenders of Black Snake Island were killed after refusing to surrender to Russian invaders. They told warship to go f themselves.
Yeah, this was a great story and so heroic and inspired so much patriotism. And I think we should take a moment of silence for those 13 brave soldiers. Oh wait, I'm just getting some news. There are conflicting reports. Oh, it seems they may have surrendered, actually, these 13 soldiers.
And not died.
And not died bravely defending their Snake Island. We don't know. That's the thing about the craziness of war on social media, is that propaganda during wartime is rampant anyway. And in social media, it just flies around. Videos that are from 2014, videos that are from not even this war, videos. There was a video game.
Oh yeah, the Arma 3 game of the
that was going
fighter
around.
pilot engaging ground forces and being attacked, and it was from a video game.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to have to like drop leaflets from planes, like full pamphlets.
Why would we think that there aren't Russian troll farms working on propaganda? And like they said, Michael Tracy was saying it's omnidirectional propaganda. So it's also coming from Ukraine to bolster their troops and bolster the sense of
global support.
Yeah.
And all sorts of
who
things.
fucking knows what's true. There was that one that went around that was pulling on the heartstrings of everybody, and we were all weeping watching it. It was a Ukrainian father saying goodbye to his daughter as he's staying back to fight in the war. And then it turns out, nope, he was Russian.
Going to fight in
Sending
Ukraine.
her home so she can fight against Ukraine.
It plays on your emotions.
Yeah.
War propaganda is so powerful because it plays on all of those.
Your
The
biases,
David
your-
versus Goliath feeling that's so powerful. The biases that you already have.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, I mean, and the Russian soldiers are being told they're fighting neo-Nazis, that they're like invading Kiev to like depose the
Jewish
neo-Nazis.
leader of Ukraine.
And meanwhile, here in America, all the neo-Nazis are like, yay, Putin. And he's
God.
we're like, bro, the Nazis love you, Putin. They're like all about you. Yeah, it's nuts. It's fucking nuts out there, guys.
I would love to know what the narrative is inside Russia. If you're a Russian citizen, like, what do you actually believe is happening?
Well, that brings
Well,
us to
then-
all the Russians who are protesting.
Yeah, these are also
Are they?
winners of the BDE award. Thousands of Russians protest the invasion of Ukraine in St. Petersburg and Moscow.
Again, they're like, they know he might murder them if they protest, and they're still like, nah, we're protesting. It's it is again truly inspiring to see these acts of defiance and bravery. This was like with Hong Kong, where you see these people standing up to these very totalitarian governments, and in the face of it, they're still like, no. And I always wonder, will I be that kind of person?
Right. They know they're risking a lot. They're
Yeah.
risking their lives.
Their
They're risking-
families.
yeah.
I mean, they're interviewing sports people and they're trying to be like, no, I'm not for this, but I have family in Russia. And they'll kind of repeatedly be like, I still have family in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that tennis player who wrote No More War.
2 sets, but Rublev said not so fast. And he might just have a message, Andrei Rublev.
You know, those are people don't understand how brave it is for these folks to dissent.
Yeah.
Because we sit here and we dissent, and you know, there's tear gassing and some arrests if it gets violent, but we're not going to get disappeared in a van or our family.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
And then we have a woman gave birth in a metro station in Kiev.
The up thing about this story is the way they tried to spin it. Like the tweet was like, but in some good news, like I'm pretty sure this wasn't good news for the woman who gave birth in the f***ing metro.
Right.
How bad do things have to be that you're like, well, in some good news, a woman gave birth in a metro bomb shelter. Like life always goes on. Like,
Right.
easy for you to say, motherfucker. I highly doubt that was in her birth plan.
Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't great news for her. I don't think, like, the lady's doula was some subway rats.
Baby's gonna have a hell of a story to tell.
Yeah. I mean, it was cute. It was a very cute baby. This poor menstruator was in a cold subway giving birth. And they're like, the good news is
Must you?
BDE award, though. That's some bad. I mean, again, the Eastern European women are just another breed.
Yep. Moving on. Troll in exile. Trump claims that if he were in office, Ukraine never would have been invaded.
The Russian attack on Ukraine is appalling. It's an outrage and an atrocity that should never have been allowed to occur. It never would have occurred.
I mean, it's a question that people have been asking. I just feel like, why is he even still talking? Go. This is just like, it is such like narcissism on fire.
Yeah.
It's just like, how can I make this about me? And there is a lot of discussion about it, and I don't know anything about it. I do remember that I think he was impeached the first time for withholding Ukraine money,
Right.
like relief
Withholding
money.
aid to Ukraine,
Yeah.
wasn't he? Yeah.
So I feel like that was kind of memory hold by the entire GOP. But I don't know. Like,
It's really easy to deal in theoreticals and be like, oh, never would have happened if I was in charge. No, dude, your like bromance with Putin probably wouldn't have stopped this.
I don't know. Maybe it would have. I love how he's like, we're not best friends, even though he's a genius.
Ugh.
He'll be like,
that was such a weird relationship because there's that whole video of him shaming Germany for being so dependent on Russia,
Right.
And then his sanctions against the Nord Stream.
Yeah,
the
he was right
pipeline,
about all that.
And then the second Biden came into office, they removed those sanctions. It's such a weird
yeah, because
relationship.
he would take a hard line on it, and then at the same time he'd be like so admiring of Putin and such a like a stand. You know, he was like a fan of his.
He has
because-
like such a hard on for Putin.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I don't think Trump really has any principles.
It's against my vice principles.
So he kind of, goes with what's popular and then, can kind of change his mind, but wants to be liked. It's this weird sort of
Opportunistic narcissism, sociopathy.
Yeah, of like personality disorders all rolled into one there.
No, but Putin's like his ideal version of a man. Like, in his opinion, that's who he really wants to be in his secret heart of hearts.
Yeah.
Capitalism always wins.
Oh, my God.
Applebee's commercials dominate CNN and MSNBC's coverage of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer, a pair of jeans that fit just right.
This was just, I mean, we are living in a dystopia. We're fully in it now. We're in a Black Mirror episode. This is a Black Mirror episode. It just was so weird. It was showing like war breaking out and air raid sirens. And then it was like just cuts to this fucking dude in jeans doing a line dance.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't see this.
Oh, God.
America is the Applebee's of the entire world. It really is. Applebee's had to release a statement apologizing on behalf of CNN. I don't even think CNN's released a statement yet about this because they just buy ads. I'm sure it was all pre-programmed.
Yeah.
But it also makes you seem like how desperate is CNN for money. By the way, who the watching CNN is going to Applebee's? That doesn't even seem like the right market.
Right. Applebee's issued a statement saying, "We are deeply concerned about the situation in Ukraine. When we were made aware that our ad was placed in this manner, we immediately reached out to CNN to pause our advertising on their network. It never should have aired, and we are disappointed in the actions of the network."
I mean, this is the most American shit ever. We can watch air raid sirens and then be whisked away to an Applebee's within like seconds. It's like, wow, this is horrible shit, huh? Let's go get some wings at Applebee's. That statement from Applebee's was from a fry cook, by the way. Like, subscribe, and comment. Speaking of capitalism always winning, touch our bells and buttons. We are being throttled if you look at our numbers on this lovely place where we're having an abusive relationship with the platform. So the best way that you can really encourage people to find us is word of mouth, as that is the only way they will probably ever be exposed to us in the entire world. And if you are on Rumble watching this, you can subscribe right up here to Locals and support the work that we do, the hard-hitting journalism that we're doing here.
And then we have In Folds Wars. Sammy Flaps and Folds is not here, but this is in honor of her, and she did
submitted
send us this story specifically to cover. Alex Jones predicted we'd be in war in February back in October 2021.
We're looking at a giant war in February right now. Currently, that's the projections with the top people on the earth who claim they're not with the New World Order Combine. Is war in February. This is the type of time, like right before World War I, right before World War II, when everything kicks off.
I mean, even a broken conspiracy clock is right twice a year. Alex Jones is Brostradamus. He's like the bro of Nostradamus. How does this guy know this shit?
God.
There's probably more video out there of him predicting war every month for the next 3 years.
That's true. Yeah. Every month he predicts war like 3 or 4 months in advance.
Right.
So he'll always be right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
About right. Sam isn't here to defend it, so we'll just leave it there. Beyond parody. Oh, Lord. Okay.
White women, come get your own.
Here we go. Actress Annalyn McCord makes the invasion of Ukraine all about her with a poem wishing she could have been Putin's mother and giving him the love he obviously lacked as a child.
Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise.
Dude, his mom loved him enough to make him think he would be an amazing dictator. I mean, imagine the kind of love. That is some Eastern European Russian love. Is like, you will rule this whole country. You need a lot of love for that kind of self-confidence and belief in yourself. You need to believe in your ability to be an autocrat. I think you had more love than most of us. And it's so funny when they'll be like, white women are at it again. And I really want to defend my people. But I can't.
No.
Progressive white women in particular have lost their fucking minds.
Are the worst.
Good thing you're conservative.
How dare you? Every single quote tweet on that video is like, white women are out of control. I'm like, yeah, we are. We're really out of control. We need to be stopped. I can't even defend this stuff.
No, speaking of white women who need to be stopped, Joy Behar is upset that the Russian invasion of Ukraine will prevent her long-awaited trip to Italy.
50,000 Ukrainians will be dead or wounded, and that this is going to start a humanitarian crisis, a refugee crisis in Europe. We're talking about 5 million people. It's heartbreaking to hear what is going to happen.
Well, I'm scared of what's going to happen in Western Europe, too. You know, you plan a trip, you want to go there. I want to go to Italy for 4 years. I haven't been able to make it because of the pandemic. And now this. What's going to happen there?
First COVID and now a war.
Won't people please think of what happened to Joy Behar in moments like this? What is going on, ladies? Can for 1 second you not make this about you?
I was so looking forward to going to Italy.
I was just been waiting for 4 years, and first we had the pandemic, and now there are going to be floods of refugees. Oh, really?
Oh, my
Sorry,
God.
the war-torn refugees flooding Italy are going to disrupt your vacation plans.
I already converted my US dollars to euros. I mean, come on.
Then we have NPR put out a thread about how to cope with the news cycle. Russia's attack on Ukraine means there's a stressful news cycle ahead of us. The reality of conflict is always a shock to the system.
There is another version of this that goes around, and there's a joke that gets repurposed often, and it goes around and it says, like, me when I was a kid, man, I wonder what it was like to live through historic times. And then it'll say, me now, oh man, this sucks. And I'm like, what? You have to like listen to Rachel Maddow and scroll on Twitter and order Postmates? You're not living through history. As Jaron and I were talking about the other morning, unless you're hearing an air raid siren outside, you're not really living through history. You're just observing it unfold online.
Yeah.
And you're like tangentially living through it.
They're not collecting silk and metal in your area for the war effort, so Rosie the Riveter can create bombers, right? Like
You're not like learning how to make Molotov cocktails and shoot a rifle. You're just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god,
Or trying to,
my god,
right, trying to flee your country on a packed train.
Yeah, you're not walking through the cold with your children. But the picture was so perfect. The illustration they used to describe, the brutality of this news cycle on the average person. And in the West, who's, and it's like a green person in the fetal position, scrolling on their phone or iPad with like
what is that thing in the upper
a brain,
brain.
Their
That's
brain.
Their brain.
Yes.
It's their brain getting mad at them.
But that's perfect. It really is.
It's perfect.
It's
perfect. This is exactly who they're talking to. People who like can't
so
handle
good for
words.
my
People who think
business.
words are violent.
Yeah, and who need
Everything's a
cry
trauma.
closets when,
they're probably in a cry closet.
they
in this
fail their
illustration.
exam.
Yeah, this is a generation they're speaking to. Just so coddled and weak and absolutely no resiliency whatsoever.
And let's be clear. It's okay to feel sad
Of
and
course.
be like upset about what's going on in the world and
Of
feel
course.
empathy for the
And
people that are
solidarity.
suffering through this right now. But to pretend like it's happening to you
Or
and you're
make it
being
about you.
personally attacked by the war that's happening.
This content also makes me want to kill myself.
No, I
Jared
freaking
needs-
finished the board the other day and was like, okay, the board is done and now I have to go kill myself. And then there are all the SJW assholes being sure to work in their righteous causes into the news about Ukraine. There were a bunch of lovely tweets compiled by someone. There was someone who said, reminder not to assign gender to anyone from Ukraine when tweeting about World War III. Remember to use the correct term folks, F-O-L-X, when referring to all the Ukrainian folks. It's not hard to be inclusive of all genders in Ukraine.
Oh my God, I'm actually going to kill myself.
Someone said, a lot of people in Ukraine crowding together inside. Only 35% of Ukrainians have been vaccinated. Less than 2% have been boosted. Yeah, that's what they're worried about.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're worried about with bombs raining down on them, is getting COVID in the bomb shelter.
Then someone said, this isn't discussed much, but Putin very much benefits from white privilege. I just can't see a scenario in which a black or brown man running Russia would be allowed to invade Ukraine with no devastating consequences. White supremacy will destroy us.
Oh my God. I mean, please, if you're out there, maybe spare a thought for us online. Change your profile from a Ukrainian flag to an American flag, because we are being bombed with bad takes. It's been a dumpster fire. It's a true dumpster fire out there. And it's evolving. We don't know where we'll be on Monday.
No. Yeah, we're shooting this Saturday. God only knows what's happening on Monday.
Be in Ukraine fighting.
I could be in Ukraine
giving
fighting.
birth in a metro station or taking out Putin. She could be in a training camp ready to take out Putin.
No, I'll probably be ordering Postmates, scrolling through war.
Talking about why hasn't someone assassinated that yet?
Being like, honey, will you rub my feet?
This war is really getting to me.
I'm emotional because I'm pregnant.
All right, then we have dumpster diving.
What's next in the dumpster? I think we just have one thing.
It's true. All right. Russian users who attempted to visit Pornhub were blocked by a message that told them that the content had been stopped, along with the Ukrainian flag and message of Ukrainian support.
How else are they supposed to check on their sisters?
Oh, ouch.
A joke I wanted to make online and I saved for you, Dumpster. You know how often I'm like, I want to make this joke online. I'm like, nope, save it for Dumpster Fire. No one watches that.
Yep. Yep.
Come on. That's a great joke.
It
it's
is a
right
great
there.
Joke.
Breaking Bridget.
I mean, I think this is the entire episode has broken me.
Yeah.
Everything going on is breaking me. But mostly it's the certainty with which everybody talks about this. Watching all of the particularly American pundits and people who don't really know anything about I hate people speaking on on behalf of Ukrainian people in particular. We don't know what they want. We don't know what their will is. I'm sure it's diverse, as there are many millions of people in the country, and we don't understand their mentality. It's a completely different worldview. Just to act like we know what's best. And I also believe that it's really hard to parse all of these competing feelings that one might be having. You know, some people feel very anti-war, and they're like, we shouldn't be going to war. All the neocons want war. But what is the line? At what point do you, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm just asking questions. Where is the line? At what point do you say, these people need help, we should be helping them, we should risk something, but is then it escalating the situation? I don't freaking know.
Right.
Nobody knows. Really, it doesn't even seem like the leaders of the world know this stuff. So why would I, an average moron, know anything? And then you have all these people with massive platforms spewing their takes as they come out of their head, and everyone's so certain that they're right. And I am baffled by that.
Yeah.
It's like arrogance and ignorance, the combination of it, and just certainty. Like, here's how you do this. It's pervasive anyways, but in particular in moments like this, it just seems exceptionally gross, and I'm just mystified by how are you so sure?
Right.
But that's it. You could talk about this being mediated, right? Everybody's playing their parts. Their takes are predictable. Depending upon who the person is, the take is predictable.
I suppose mine
right?
is.
And they're appealing to a certain audience, right? We can talk about nuance or subtlety, and those things are great, but they don't capture eyeballs, right?
Right.
So I mean,
some people are just so like, this is what it is, and they double down on this stuff, and it's like, this is a false flag, or we shouldn't even be there, or the Ukrainian people should surrender and give up, and it's like, you don't fucking know anything.
Right. Well, it's to me, it's not even the, pundits or whoever are, okay, it's kind of their job to like come up with a hot take and like stress that it's the right one, but it's just kind of like normal people being like, well, if only we had done this, and this should have happened, and if this had been done right, this never would have happened. It's just like, you don't know. You don't know anything.
Yeah. Everyone's a Monday morning quarterback. Everybody in this situation. Like, well, if I was in charge, I would assassinate Putin. We know that probably wouldn't go very well.
But I like it as a plan.
But it does. And then the people who do try and parse like a lot of these conflicting feelings are
completely demonized.
Yeah.
For having any sort of, I might have been wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not quite as certain as I was. You had a bunch of people come out and sort of, hey, I was wrong. Right. I'm not going to name them, but they went, I got this wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And then they just get completely shit on.
Yeah. Because our culture is so unforgiving, and there's no room for I was wrong and I take this back, or I've changed my opinion.
Yep.
It's just not great. And doesn't really help. I mean, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
You can just, this is what my necklace is. It's a pause. Pause when agitated or doubtful. You can just pause and observe.
And admit, I don't know enough about it to form an opinion. That's very confusing, complicated.
And it's hard too, even in our position, because I'm saying I don't know enough about this, but I do like making fun of all of it.
Right.
So it's hard because even as I sit here and talk to you, I'm giving conflicting information and saying, like, I understand why people would want to pay attention. I also understand why people would want to weigh in with their opinion, but it's just the certainty. Like, oh, we should have done this. Yeah. We should do this. It's so annoying. And to cleanse your palate from watching war, the internet is glorious.
I've never tried popcorn before. A lot of you guys are gonna be like, how have you never tried popcorn? Guys, I've never tried it before. Don't come for me. So I thought it would be a good idea to try some popcorn. I'm super scared. Oh, I'm so nervous. Okay, here we go. I don't know. Let me try another one. I mean, it's okay. It's not like all that. I don't get the hype.
All right, Phetasy News. We had Ian Higgins and Johan Hari on Walk-Ins Welcome. Check out Walk-Ins Welcome. Subscribe wherever you can. Check out Geriatric Mommy on our Substack. You can go into the link is in the description below. Subscribe. It's free. We're going to have a lot more content coming out of that Substack, so get on board there. I'm blogging about being a mommy, but we're also going to have letters from the politically homeless and so much more. Dumpster Fire, the podcast, is available. If you can't watch this, you can definitely listen to it. Wherever podcasts are available, subscribe, tell your friends, get on board. We're on Rumble, and you can subscribe to our locals easily right here if you're watching us on Rumble. It makes it seamless. It's also where all of our video content will land first and foremost, always. So go to Rumble and find us on our Phetasy page. And join the community at Phetasy.com. We talked about it at the top of the episode. You can get our unedited version of Dumpster Fire on Sundays and so much more content, even things like I'm posting pictures of my baby bump, stuff I don't post publicly. It's a little bit more personal. So it's the fam. Join us at the fam. Shop our merch at BridgetPhetasy.com and also our limited edition merch at squidprintdtg.com/Phetasy-shop. Go to either one of those places, get a Dumpster Fire hoodie, get a women hoodie. Those won't be around for long, so get on that. I would like to thank all the people who make this possible. Thank you to our sponsors, Sheath, Masterworks, and IP Vanish. Thank you, supporters, subscribers, people who are spreading us word of mouth, since that's the only way. We're going to have to drop flyers to get attention for Dumpster Fire. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. That's the best thing you can do for us if you want to support. And if you can't support us at Phetasy.com. Thank you to Andy Chandler, Matt Monroe, Dave Yates, Better Phetasy, Luna, Viola, Mr. Phetasy, Sammy Flaps and Folds, and Maggie. I can't do this without any of those people at all. It does not exist. Thank you, ZenPro Audio, for the mic. Go to ZenProAudio.com for all of your audio needs. Support small businesses that support us. Like, subscribe, and comment. Touch my bells and very increasing buttons. This has been your Dumpster Fire for the weeks of February 13th to February 26th. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me rich like a Russian oligarch.